I'm Erin Lawler-Patterson, the Goodness Chick. I'm a podcaster, motivational speaker, author, counselor, and proud part of the Mental Health News Radio Network. Join me on the journey of navigating the joys and pitfalls of life, addressing mental health, addiction, raising kids, and giving back. If it takes a village, then join me as one of those villagers. Villagers wanted. Today's episode is on the heels of a brand new year beginning and a new year coming to a close. So I put together a list of 5 ways in which you can rock out a healthier you. We're talking both emotionally, talking physically, and I believe so many times we can kind of get caught up and turned away by the term resolution. And I look at this as more of a gift that we owe ourselves, we deserve. It's a right, not a privilege. But before we get started with today's episode, I do want to give a shout out and a special thanks to Fire Mountain Residential Treatment Center located in Colorado, a stellar, wonderful, supportive program that's located in Colorado, sponsor for today's episode of Goodness Chick. Please check them out at firemountainprograms.com. And as we start today, I really took some time to think about what this year has meant to me. And I hope that's something that you kind of take time for yourself. And it's really, really easy, especially as we get the last 2 weeks of the year. Usually just can kind of be a flurry of craziness. With Christmas approaching, with New Year's approaching, with obligations and things you have to wrap up, it can just be crazy. It's so important for it to not be crazy in its the smallest of increments. And I mean that where it's taking time to kind of reflect on what did the last year mean to you? What was the good? What was the bad? What was the in-between? What would you like, to improve on? I do believe life, so much of it is about growth. So much about it is our mentality is so critical. And I'm a person who is very visual about kind of like writing things down and having a tangible object in my hand, because if I don't have that, I forget it. It's like fleeting, it's gone. And we've had almost 365 days behind us. And to me, it's a gift, right? There was ups and downs in my year, but I didn't deserve those 365 years. They were given. There are now 365 that lie ahead of us. Okay. For each of us individually, what are we going to do with those? Because it's so easy for it to be fleeting. And I believe there's different ways, there's different approaches. And I put together 5 different things that I believe, okay, this is my opinion, this has been through my personal experience, that can make our upcoming year, our new year, healthier, stronger, more enjoyable, even no matter what, because I can't predict anybody's future or what lies ahead of us. It could be a very tumultuous, heart-wrenching year, and I hope it's not. But if it is, even in that, these things apply. Because I think when we put these 5 ingredients together, right, it's not an answer for anything, but it lightens our load. It alters our mindset. It allows us to value ourselves more. So I'm going to get started. And the first of the 5th, is kindness. Kindness, spreading kindness, feeling kindness, being kind. And it really seems like a simple enough concept, but it isn't. And it's something that's not prevalent enough. And one of the things, oh my gosh, if I could tell you how much I've learned in nearly 6 months being abroad, one of this is the power of kindness, where you can feel alone in a room full of people. We can feel tired and we can feel overwhelmed sometimes. But when we feel that we're not connected and kindness in whatever form is not being bestowed upon us, it can be tiring. I will tell you, I have learned so much when it comes to the power and richness in another human being's smile, another person's hello, extension of hello, or extension in actually communicating through words. I am a very, very, very social human being. It's a part of my wiring, and I know that. I was aware of that before leaving for this trip. The past 2 months have been truly some of the hardest of my life. I'm being very open and honest here. And it kind of has led me at times to a place that I really haven't been in a long time, and that's lonely. And my husband and son are with me, which is wonderful, and it's been beautiful. But the social component is separate. The interactive component with other people is separate. And I've found, even like surrounded by thousands of people, there's times that I've struggled with feeling that human connection. All of us need a human connection. And it isn't about feeling the obligation of having to chat with everybody, because that's not realistic and that's not authentic, but it's allowing every single person to feel human. It's the significance of somebody feeling like they're worth something. That is a gift, right? We owe to everyone we encounter, and vice versa, right? And obviously we're not going to receive it all the time, but we owe it to ourselves really to feel that way, to feel that we're worth something, to feel like somebody thinks that we matter. And if you struggle in this area, I'm going to tell you, as a new year approaches, when it comes to people that make you feel important, it's sticking and being around those people and shedding those who don't make you feel like you're of value, man. The people we surround ourselves, big time important. And sometimes we don't have a choice in that. I'll say this, my past, few months, there's been times where I've pursued people, I've pursued, try to make connections, and I've really come up empty-handed. And with that, it's given me a ton of time in terms of reflection and learning about myself, and kind of navigating through those waters. But I'll tell you, kindness cannot be overrated. And one of the things that I have adamantly, my husband and I have discussed at length, when we get back to the States, I think we've always been pretty open people, but I refuse to let somebody else feel the way I have at different times, because, man, it's been tough. It has been really tough. And I don't believe it all the time that it was intentional. I don't. Sometimes it was. But, man, it has taught me so much that kindness is so precious and it's so important, and it's something that we deserve, and we deserve to bestow upon other people. It's got to be reciprocated, and we got to pursue it. So number one, kindness. Number two, big one, my friends, is releasing the desire to compare yourself to other people. It's letting it go, freeing yourself of that, comparing ourselves to other people, whether it's comparing the degrees we have for whatever reason, the size of our house, the model of our car, our retirement savings, and the list can kind of like go on and on and on, compare and contrast at different stages of our life. And we can get very easily sucked into that, right? It is toxic. It is toxic. It is toxic. And it's so easy in today's day and age really to do, I think more so than ever before when it comes to social media, with whatever social media platform you're looking at, what's being displayed almost all the time is perfection. Things and this barometer of what defines your significance. And it's so far out there, but absolutely when we allow ourselves to be subjected to these messages that are totally toxic and inauthentic, it does creep in. I don't care who you are, it creeps in. And it's so easy to do in today's day and age when it comes to, I think about during the holidays, man, especially during the holidays where, I think about how parents compare, I wasn't able to give this, what my kid's friends was able to get, the new iPhone or this iPad. And I'm not good enough. Whoa! We need to kick these things out of our head. And I say to parents, really from the bottom of my heart, when it comes to the whole, if you celebrate Christmas, Santa thing, that Santa gives you one present. There are so many kids out there that will, I get back to school or I'm in the neighborhood and, hey, I got, 12 and a half presents and Susie gets one, right? And it's a pair of socks. And that's all that's what her parents could afford. And they did the best they can. So it's kind of rephrasing, because our kids compare and contrast. Our kids, well, why was I bad? Did I do something wrong? Is my family not good enough? And so many facets of our life, we compare. And what we say and our mindset is so, so, so important. Because this is what happens. No matter how positive or strong-willed that you may be, when we put ourselves up, like we're versus another human being, us versus them, in terms of how we're looking at things, we're bound either to totally inflate our ego or to deflate it and our self-image. It's one or the other. And neither of those is a win. Neither. It's a lose on both ends. So what I really, throw out to you as we begin this year, it's reminding yourself, it's not about other people. It's not about comparison, because, man, we do that a lot, and there's no one that can win when it comes to that, right? There's not. Um, I say exchange this. You release comparison in exchange for gratitude. I really, really do. What are you grateful for? What makes you smile? When we look on the outside and the grass is always greener in somebody else's yard, right? It always is. In our heads, oh man, look at what they have. But when you get really, really, really close, what you don't realize, well, that grass was astroturf. It's artificial, right? That flower bed is infested with termites. Okay. And I'm using, different comparisons, right? But it's true. We don't know what the other person is facing. No matter how much stuff they have, no matter how perfect nothing's perfect, my friends. And one of the greatest things that we can weigh ourselves down with is comparison, because nothing is as it seems. And when we focus on the job that we are trying to do, on who we are, and being grateful for what we have, and often it's more than we realize that we have, right? Beautiful things happen. And it changes our mindset and allows it to motivate us to truly live in a different way, different ball game, kind of awesome. And we really set the example. Our teenagers, kids, man, they are, it's a different day and age, man, where it's constantly in their face of what they're not good enough, where they don't measure up when it comes to social media. We have to set the standards. We have to encourage them that it's not about comparison, even though it kind of creeps in our head as adults. Dude, we have to, because if we get caught in that trap, they will too. And it's talking about kind of learning, and to me, it's kind of a life pursuit to be content with who you are. And that goes with gratitude. That goes with ambition. That goes with passion, and allowing yourself kind of like in a very positive way, having a myopic vision of what's ahead of you, not what's on the side, because we get distracted and it slows us down and it puts thoughts in our head that just simply do not need to be there. So boom, that's number 2. We're moving on to number 3, right? We're rocking out, my friends. Get high. I'm not talking about substances. Boom, so relax a little bit. But I do mean this with all my heart. I've watched so many people in life who are just kind of coasting. They're in cruise control. They're just going. And the only time that they're really excited and they're really high about life is when they're high or they're drunk. And to me, that is way, way, way artificial living. But it's prevalent, right? It's connecting to what brings you joy. What makes you laugh? What makes you feel alive and connects you, man? What is it? And if you can't answer that, that's what make this year about. That part of it is pursuing what gets me stoked, what gets me high, what gets me excited about being alive, what makes me smile. What is it that maybe you haven't been able to do in a while? An interest, an activity, a hobby. Take time for you. Take time for you. Take time for you. And you might be having 50 thoughts in your head right now. Well, Era, if you even knew what my life obligations and responsibilities, if you even knew, and I don't know, but it's making it possible to where it meets your needs, to where it's to your schedule. And maybe that's rearranging things a little bit. Maybe dinner's leftovers. Maybe it's having the kids do one sport in a season instead of 2. Maybe it's letting laundry kind of just jam there for an extra day, dude. It's not going to go anywhere, I promise you, right? It could be waking up 30 minutes earlier or decreasing your screen time. Okay, I know we can be crazy trained, but we deserve to feel that high in life. We do, because when we don't, and we just keep going, we don't have that connection with interest and that joy, we end up finding joy in ways that aren't healthy. Whether it's excessive sleeping, whether it's unhealthy relationships, whether it's just kind of burning the candle at both ends and you're just going and you're monotonous and you're just coasting. Dude, let's not make this year about coasting. Let's make this year about living. Seriously, straight up. And it could be something like this, like you love running, man. Maybe, you like, I don't know, you want to teach yourself how to play the guitar and you jump on YouTube, right? It could be getting back to writing again, painting, whatever, all right? Reading. There's like 1,000 things, 1,000 things. What is something that gives you a stoke, something that gives you a high? We need it, and you deserve it. And it's taking, even if it's like a little super baby smidgen of time, and it's taking it for you. Because here's the deal. When we allocate time for ourselves and we're saying to ourselves, hey, I'm important and I'm worth it, we're also conveying that message to the people around us, right? So we are more than just the label of, whatever your title is at work, to, I'm mom, I'm dad, I'm spouse, I'm sibling, I'm whoever, blah, 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 whoever you are, whatever we are, like, it's redefining boundaries. It's redefining and maybe just kind of reminding people that you're important. You deserve time. You are a human being. And sometimes we can kind of lose that sense. You're just a label. We're more than just a label. And the people around us need to see that we're more than just a label. And this is a start. Pursuing your interests, pursuing things that you enjoy. And when we make ourselves a priority, others see us as holding more value as well. Kind of awesome, correct? I think it's super awesome. Number 4 is make a bucket list, man. Make a bucket list. And we hear this, and sometimes it's, bucket list. What are we talking about? I mean it. So in the next 365 days, what are maybe 3 to 5 things you want to rock out? Realistic things, okay? So it's like leaving out, I'm going to climb Everest, when you can't go around the block without getting winded, okay? We need to be realistic, and I don't mean to be negative or anything, or I'm going to be a scuba diving instructor by December, but you don't know how to swim. Everything's about baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. You could be a scuba diver instructor at some point in life, right? But within, realistically, 365 days, that's probably not going to happen. And this is why I say being realistic, because when we have these lofty, unrealistic things, we're just like, it makes us feel like, oh, of course I didn't do it again. It affects our self-image. It's this like, okay, well, I just can't do it anyhow. And it's this can't. And this mentality that kind of seeps in that makes us like, well, self-worth goes down. Boom, we've got to make it more realistic. One of the things that can make our bucket list right now and New Year's are things that are sustainable. It is gradual. It is gradual. It is gradual. Things that aren't don't succeed. And I know it sounds like a bummer, but it's realistic. So when we have a bucket list, we become, I really do, I think we become more stoked about life. And whether I've worked with a teenager or an adult, when it clicks, it's like, oh man, first it's like, bucket list. Then it's like a bucket list. What's your bucket list, right? It adds more color. The days are less likely to blur and be monotonous. We appreciate life more, and it kicks that up a notch, the quality of life that we have. What? That's awesome. So this year for me, I've kind of already started beginning to construct my bucket list, right? And one of mine is to speak at least 3 conferences, whether that's domestic or international, right? I have seriously been working my butt off, putting myself out on all forms of social media. I'm getting up early, staying up late, kind of just juggling things, going out of my comfort zone in a million different ways, writing more, offering to speak more, bump, bump, bump. I really have no doubt this will happen. I've been working up to it. But I do believe the bucket list doesn't become fulfilled unless we really pursue it, unless we go after it, we allow ourselves to get excited. And sometimes when we hear the term bucket list, we kind of have this mentality, we think of how long we have to accomplish it. It's like, I have years. We think later down the road, right? Now, instead of that, it's exchanging it for the now. Just exchanging it for the now in the next 12 months. But the first step begins now. It's not in February. It's now. It's now. It's now. And it's getting. First, you might be tired. First, you might be reluctant. Then you start to get excited. Then the color and the zest and the substance comes through. And I think it's kind of cool. You want to work on a new degree. You want to learn how to sculpt. You have this desire. I want to go to this country and get my passport stamped. Whatever it is. You want to get over the fear of speaking in front of people. Start, because you are a work of art. And when we kind of let the paints just sit, when paints sit, what happens? They get kind of funky, right? They get crusty. They get not as if the color's just not as vibrant, dude. Let's let our color be vibrant, 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 man. Got one life. Don't just think about it. Write it down. Put it on a Post-it note and put that sucker in a mirror in your bathroom. You put it, in your car, whatever the heck it is. Remind yourself of what you want and connecting the steps to match it. Boom! Do you have to register for that course, right? You're not gonna just be able to head to class and you didn't register. There's steps, man. There's steps. Do you have to train in some way? I want to run a 5K by May. To train? What do you have to do? Do you need your passport updated? Simple things, and it's reminding yourself. And what happens is, instead of like, I have to do this, you really begin to build momentum and get excited. And when we fill in the gaps and allow our visions to become a closer reality, we get excited, man. We get stoked. We get revved up. The color becomes more vibrant, and that's awesome. We gain access to our potential. And that blah, okay, that cruise control becomes stoke. Boom, awesome. I love number 4. Number 5, last one, it's a good one. Give thanks. Give thanks. When we assume the attitude of gratitude, our heart, our mindset, our outlook changes, and it has crazy super duper positives attached to it. Absolutely, right? Just as negative's toxic, positive is powerful. Totally, from the bottom of my heart, man, that sucker's powerful. It's so easy to get trapped in this web of what we don't have, right? Or what we're lacking in, our deficiencies. But this is unnecessary, and it's really tremendously detrimental. I'm going to tell you one thing that I do. Before every meal, I take time and I give thanks to God for the food that's in front of me. I give thanks to different things in my own life on a daily meal basis. And you're like, what? It's the attitude of gratitude. My food didn't magically appear. I thank God for it. I am very grateful. When I tell you I've traveled all around the world, different cultures, and the things that were like, I grabbed a sandwich on my, went through the drive-through and I got a cup of coffee. There's countries that don't have clean water, right? There's people that don't have access to schools, to education, and the list goes on. Be grateful, and it will change your life. It's so easy to just put that to the side. Well, I'm grateful. Are you? Are you? Are you? Are you? Are you? Because here's the deal. It's giving actual thanks to build a mindset that isn't just focused on us. And it isn't about what we do or do not have, right? It's about being thankful for things that we have, who we are, what we've been given. And for me, it's giving appreciation and pause to give thanks to God for what I have and where I'm at, regardless of what is and isn't. There's been different seasons in my life, man, where it's, hooray, thank you. Like, you gotta pursue it. You gotta fight for it sometimes, but there is absolute power, tremendous power when we cling and we swim towards and we pursue gratitude. It's verbal and mental thanks that stretches us and it roots us in life in a way that is just absolutely mind-blowing. Absolutely. And instead of merely saying that we're thankful, right? I'm thankful. It's allocating time to be thankful, making a list and verbally or in our mind saying repeatedly, what are we thankful for? Take pause to reflect, right? Take pause of what the positives are. Not just, I'm grateful. I hear it all the time. What are you grateful for? And then you struggle and you're looking for be able to kick it out there, because when it's in our mind and it seeps into our inner being, like in our heart, it's there. Grateful people, appreciative people, it's a part of every ounce that's within them, and it's life-changing. And it's not easy. I mean, I have, through the past 6 months, man, there's times that I'm struggling. I've struggled, but there's power in gratitude. Every meal, what am I thankful for? Sitting in a bus in traffic going to Jerusalem, where I'm super anxious and overwhelmed, what am I grateful for? There is power in gratitude because it changes our attitude. Changes our lifestyle. It changes everything. It changes everything. And so as we begin to really draw closer to another year, don't take that year for granted. Write these 5 things down, and I'm going to encourage you, pass this on. I can promise you have people in your life who are just kind of clamoring. I have a new year and I have these lofty aspirations, but I'm tired. There's ways to recharge, get wind back in our sails, and it begins now. It begins now, and rock it out, my friends. And I'm going to tell you, one of your New Year's visions, goals, subscribe to Goodness Chick, man. Listen to this sucker as you're driving into work, as you're at the gym. Get on other pods or other music that's positive and changing and inspiring, because when we listen to positive encouragement, stuff with insight and rocks your heart, it gets us going. When we listen to negative and noise and chaos, it drags us down. It's a new year, it's a new you. Get it going. I believe in you. And let's get this party started, baby. Peace, love, and goodness, my friends. If you enjoyed today's show, I encourage you to visit goodnesschick.com and sign up for my newsletter, providing insights and encouragement just for you. Thanks for listening, my friends.